Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet, as ESGNet presents ESGNet's Sports Gamer Podcast Soapbox Talk, as we are in episode 8 now, I believe. So this is the 8th installment of the series, as this week we got quite a few things going on here in this week of sports. Well, one of the biggest news of the week was that one of the greatest fighters of all time in boxing has passed away. And I'm talking about the late, great sting like a butterfly, or float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That is no other than Muhammad Ali. Passed away at the age of 74. A Olympian back in the 1960s. Of course, his real name, Cassius Clay, for those millennials that don't know much about him. I'm not saying I do, because growing up, he was one of the boxers that was always mentioned when you talk about great boxers, and he will be missed greatly to a lot of people, especially the people that grew up seeing him box in person or on television. And so yes, he will be missed. Age of 74. I guess in today's standards, that's still pretty young. If you guys don't know, he died of by way of his Parkinson's. He had a severe case of Parkinson's. And a lot of people were saying also too that he had a combination of Parkinson's and I can't think of it. Alzheimer's. It was a combination of the two. But as far as I know, I think he had Parkinson's. I know for sure, because he did have violent shakes at times and whatnot. Of course, his daughter, is very famous because she's in boxing, and kind of now a reality star herself. And today, or I should say, well, this post is up on Saturday. Yesterday, on Friday, they had his memorial service there in Louisville, Kentucky, in the neighborhood he grew up in. If you didn't get a chance to see it, I believe CNN.com has the full service. Them taking his body through in a hearse through his childhood neighborhood, and also to the procession to the service. So I did watch a little bit of the service online, and then some clips later on YouTube. I completely forgot about that it was going to be on television and posted online. I caught the very end of it. I didn't get to catch the whole service, but what I've heard from a lot of people, friends, and then also throughout the media, it was a beautiful service. Great words were said about him, from his his widow being his wife. Of course, the person that knows him the best. She said some beautiful words about him, things that we didn't even know about him, as Muhammad Ali. Also, his good friends like Billy Crystal, former President Bill Clinton, and so many others said some beautiful, great words about him. And honestly, I can see it. I can see why so many people were touched by him, and why he was such a great person to be around. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Ali family. It will be a difficult time here in sport, especially in the sports world. There were so many tweets. I can't remember what the exact number was for tweets when this broke out, but it broke out late last weekend that he passed away. I think it was I want to say it was last Friday or Saturday when it was released, and then it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think I just got done with episode 7 here when the news was released. So it's shocking. A lot of people just could not believe it. but yeah, it happened, and we wish his family the best, and hopefully they can get through this tough time now. And just remember the good things he brought, not just to his family but also to the world and in the sports realm, especially in boxing. Moving on here to another death that happened within 48 hours of the two passing away. 42-year-old MMA fighter, former. He was, if I'm not mistaken, I think his background of his life, he was homeless for a long time there. I'm talking about Kimbo Slice. He passed away. Unknown of how he passed away, but we do know that on Sunday, Sunday night, there was a release in the press that he was hospitalized, and it was unknown what his hospitalization was. I'm trying to spit it out here, but they still have not released that yet, and we won't know until there's an autopsy. That'll take about 2 weeks to know why he passed away. But that was another story that was just, it was pretty hard to believe. I just could not believe that was what was going on. He passed away, and it was just kind of out of this world. They say death comes in threes. If you ever heard of that. But yeah, Kimbo Slice dies at the age of 42. Yes, very young. So yes, yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. A lot of people in the mixed martial arts in the world were just could not believe that he passed away so so sudden. Now trying to switch gears now here, and this is kind of a hard transition. We're going to get to some lighter news here. We're going to talk about some things that happened on Monday Night Raw, and also what happened at NXT Takeover. Now, this episode is pretty much just an episode about pro wrestling. As of course, we'll get into some basketball. Just last night, we just seen that the Golden State Warriors are now 3-1 on Cleveland. By the looks of it, people are saying that this is it because there's really no way of Cleveland. Now Cleveland have to win these games. Oh, excuse me. Would have to win games 4, 5, 6, and 7 to even win the title. They would have to win, 4, 5, and 6 just to tie it back up to get a game 7 to be in that position. So a lot of work will have to be done here with the Cavs and whatnot. Of course, both the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson and Mr. MVP himself, Stephen Curry, both scored in double figures. I believe 32 points, I think, were scored by Curry, and I believe 27 points for Thompson. So, and of course, Green just having a great playoff run right now. I can't remember exactly what his numbers were from that. But, yeah, definitely a great night for them and for Golden State fans. So, 108-89. But, a lot of people are saying that, this has not been really it's been I guess, all right. Not the most memorable NBA Finals because pretty much every single game now lasts, 4 games now? No, 3 games. Yeah, 3, yeah. Yeah, 3 games. They've been, it was before, the time was game 4, so yeah. These last games here, I think 3 or 4 games now, have not been too exciting, and a lot of people are saying that, there's haven't been that many back and forth, just kind of been blowouts from either side. So, we'll they'll have the Nelson ratings out here later in the week. We'll find out how the ratings were and whatnot. But in the game 5, I believe is they'll have to win. Yeah, they'll have to win this next game to get the series to 5-2, which is currently, or excuse me, 3-2, to order to get to to even have a chance to win the series and win the championship. So yeah, they would have to win Monday night's game, and that'll be on ABC. So a little cheap plug there for them. And let's see, Green. Let's look at here. 9 points for him. Curry had 38 and Thompson had 25. I'm looking here on my computer here. There. So both Splash Brothers doing great there. Green had he had 12 rebounds in the game there, so definitely doing a good job waxing the boards there. He had 11 defensive rebounds there, so good night for him indeed. And so now they're just one game away now, and they can win it all. So that is going on in the NBA right now. Major League Baseball right now, kind of quiet. Baseball right now, I think Salvi Perez, at least last I heard, he is leading in votes from fans for the All-Star game. I think right now, so far, I think it's a record right now that he has for the most votes. So he's definitely one of the top vote getters right now. Even though the Royals are not playing the best baseball right now, I think they're tied either in first or somewhere in second place, a close second in the American League Central. They've had some ups and downs here. They've had a recent road trip here where they lost 5 straight, and then they came back and won 6. And now I think they're back to having a losing streak now again as they go on this, I think, a road trip here coming up. Let's see. What else can we talk about here? Well, let's go ahead and let's get into tonight's or today's main dish, our main event, you want to say. Really cool thing happened on Monday Night Raw, which I was really excited about to see this and whatnot, and it was Teddy Long. Teddy Long has not been on Monday Night Raw or any kind of WWE programming for quite some time now. I want to say it's probably 2013 we seen him last time or so, early 2014. But he returned. He made it a return back to Monday Night Raw. Basically, putting his hat in there, saying that in the ring, saying that, hey, I want, if SmackDown's gonna be now on Tuesday nights, it's gonna be live. I want to be one. I want to be considered as a GM. Now, there has been some good matches that Teddy Long has put together as a GM. He's actually been pretty fun and exciting to be the GM on there. With the only exception of that being terrible is the whole tag team. He is such a homer for tag teams and 6-man matches that it's just almost you just can't do it every week. You gotta have a flavor. You gotta change it up. You gotta draw people to come back to watch it week from week. Which I think that's the reason why they're bringing SmackDown to a live capacity with a chance to have a really good storyline to go with this whole brand extension, and having both shows be live and having exclusive superstars on either show. So Teddy Long appearing on, I think that was really fun. That was something for the fans. And it'll be really interesting to see if they're going to bring him back. I personally, I think it'll be great. I think it would work only best if he was, a consultant, kind of like a Vicky Guerrero was when he was GM, and be a consultant to maybe Stephanie and kind of be, in Stephanie's skin at times to give her a hard time. I don't think that would work too much with Shane, because Shane's kind of seen as the babyface GM, as opposed to Stephanie being the heel GM. So yeah, I think I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, I think that was something they would need to look into and try to do. But yeah, Teddy Long made an appearance there on Monday Night Raw. Of course, Monday Night Raw, live as always, and some pretty decent matches there. Nothing to really get all excited about. Of course, the big thing everybody's talking about is this John Cena and AJ Styles. First time these two have met. It's basically John Cena representing WWE and AJ Styles representing pretty much indie wrestling. You can really say the face of TNA going against the face of WWE. So we'll see that matchup at Money in the Bank. We'll have more about that here, as that is coming up here very, very soon. So we'll have the prediction videos for those coming up here, I think sometime next week. We'll have those out here on the channel, and we'll talk more about that. I think we'll try to talk about that next Saturday here on the show. But yeah, so Monday Night Raw, not much of a show. Yes, kind of a build up to SmackDown, which SmackDown, leading into Money in the Bank here coming up here in another week or so. Really getting the matches set up. You got the Money in the Bank match. Of course, you got Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns going for the WWE title, Intercontinental Championship right now. It's not for grabs. United States Championship is, as the United States Champion, Rusev is going to go one-on-one with a very hungry singles competitor, trying to get his foot in the door here as a singles competitor, and that is Titus O'Neil. He will be facing Rusev. We learned on Raw this past, or SmackDown on Thursday, that they'll go one-on-one in a matchup. Alright, now let's go ahead and move on to this past Wednesday on NXT, live on the WWE Network. NXT The End. And basically, a lot of people say, okay, what does this mean? What does this end mean? But it's really it's NXT The End and the beginning. So it's kind of a subtitle to that match, or to that pay-per-view. And basically it is I guess kind of just letting us know that this one new era, this first era in NXT is now going to be over, and a new era will begin. Samoa Joe, your current champion, in the main event against Finn Balor. Those two going at it in a cage match. And of course, we've seen how that ended, as the muscle buster on the second rope there from Joe ended the match with Finn Balor being pinned 1, 2, 3. So good finish to that. A lot of fans were saying that this was probably one of the best steel cage matches they've seen for a long time. I have to agree with them. It was a lot of fun, and for the most part, just kept the match, those two going at it. And I'm sure we'll see those two go one-on-one once again on the main roster. Now, speaking of the main roster, by the looks of it, Samoa Joe could be the guy that could anchor the NXT brand for a couple months here. Rumor has it that WWE is trying to make, since now they're going this new era of sports entertainment, they're going to try to make NXT as kind of a third brand to compete with Raw and SmackDown here coming up next month, as we get closer and closer to the Raw extending brand, Battle of the Brands. So that being said, so of course Joe is the current champion. Asuka is your current women's champion. She had a match there with Nia Jax, and by far, I will have to say, Nia Jax, as much as she's been in these main events here, she's definitely put on a show here, and I think really and truly, she's got to get a good push here for too long. They can't really. I know they want to have Asuka as the kind of the new, kind of the like just like with Samoa Joe, kind of be the anchor of that division. But eventually, they're going to have to get Nia Jax a run for her money. I mean, she put on a great match there against Asuka, not to mention with Bayley several times there. So her getting called up to the main roster, I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen here within the next month or so. I think it's going to happen here within the next 3 to 6 months from now. But I don't see her, moving up anytime soon. I think we'll see a lot more of her on the NXT brand there, and I'm really excited about seeing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now we're going to keep moving on. Let's move on to another match that happened there, NXT, and you got the debut of Andrea Cien Amadas. Great debut there. I think in the last episode I kind of mentioned that Ty Dillinger kind of being the poster boy, the new CJ. I can't think of the name now. The guy that comes in and takes the bumps for the new guy and kind of welcome him in there on the matches and make him look good. Ty Dillinger, surprisingly enough, did a great job really making the new guy look good, and also himself. So it's going to be really cool to see how that's going to turn out here as we get closer and closer to the roster kind of solidifying and getting themselves to see who's what. But yeah, that match right there is a really good match to kick off the show. Kind of a dance. People are comparing it like a dance in a lot of ways. Some of these matches are kind of, guys are just, one's taking the lead, the other one's following. But this was a good match to start off a pay-per-view like this, and I can't wait to see more of both of the guys coming up here in future matches there in NXT. Now we're going to move on to the tag team match. That was a match that, honestly, I could not believe that it was. I kind of just. It was kind of one of those moments like, wow, that just happened. Like that just happened. I'm talking about the matchup between American Alpha and the. Now the two-time NXT champions first time ever this has ever happened in NXT, having two-time champions, but the Revival are now NXT Tag Team Champions once again. They defeated American Alpha there. Honestly, it was a great match. American Alpha was very dominant there in the opening minutes of that matchup, and then kind of like halfway through, you've seen a change really quickly. And the Revival came out of nowhere and took the titles back, and now they're strapped around their waist there as tag team champions. So, hang on, trying to do something here. Okay, there we go. I apologize if that noise in the background was my fan. Trying to stay cool here in my room here that I do my filming in. Editing stuff, but for the most part, American Alpha and the guys of the Revival really, honestly, these two teams have great charisma within the tag team, but also within the two tag teams together. And it was a good back and forth match there. My favorite type of match there. Both bring back. Especially the Revival. The Revival, I've been saying this, and this is something that they need to do a lot more there on the main roster, but to cut the ring in half. those are the good tag teams you want to watch. Tag teams that can cut the ring in half, keep the opponent on that side of the ring, and try to build up that hot tag there. I think they do such a great job of doing that and making the babyface team look good. But yeah, for the most part, I am so glad that they were able to win the titles, and now they regain the tag team titles now. So now they are two-time champs in the tag team division there in the NXT. Rolling on here, we got what else do we have? We had a match between Austin Aries and Nakamura. Oh my goodness. A great matchup there between those two. Definitely worth watching as Nakamura and Austin Aries go head to head there in that matchup there. Nakamura very flamboyant, very charismatic there in that match. And I think honestly, what I've heard from a lot of people, from reading stuff on the internet and stuff like that, they have big plans for him. They have big plans for him there in NXT, and eventually getting him up to the main roster. A lot of people are saying that he could be up to the main roster by SummerSlam. I don't think that's going to happen. There was a rumor going around, actually, they're saying that he was going to be a part of he was supposedly to be the 7th man for Money in the Bank, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I mean, anything could possibly happen here in the next week or so. But that's one of the rumors that's going on right now. But the match between him and Austin Aries, and Aries is another guy I think that he will be in NXT for a while. I think eventually they will give him a big push as Finn Balor's now going to be going up to the main roster here sooner or later with Gallows and Anderson teaming up with them possibly. Not to mention, you got so many other guys that WWE just recently signed. They signed Bobby Roode to NXT. We haven't really seen him. Actually, we did see a glimpse of him for just a quick second or so there at the pay-per-view. He was in the background there as William Regal was being interviewed about the match, about the main event match there. But yeah, for the most part, they got NXT got some good things going on, and this of course is the pay per view called The End was not the end of NXT, but the end of the first era of NXT, as they got supposedly got some big things going on for themselves. Triple H didn't. If you guys go on his page, his Facebook page, they hit a live Facebook video session there. He was kind of talking about the future of NXT and the things they want to do there. I haven't got a chance to look or listen to it yet or see it yet, but rumor has it that there's going to be they're supposed to be making NXT as a third brand to compete with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Apparently, the rumor is that they're supposed to be involved in the brand extension, bringing guys up from NXT from time to time to Monday Night Raw, to SmackDown, to showcase them, but also get to also kind of cross promote each other's shows. Let people know that hey, if you want to see more of this superstar or more of these tag teams or whatever, get the WWE Network and check it out on NXT. Because NXT is kind of like the at least what I understand from what Hunter was saying in a couple other interviews that he had about this pay-per-view and whatnot. NXT is, and if you're a wrestling fan, you kind of already know this already. But NXT is kind of like the WWE's version of an indie promotion. Small. They really, they've had a couple big pay-per-views outside of Full Sail. But by the sounds of it, they're going to be doing a lot more road. Here lately, they've been going to like Texas and Pacific Northwest and California, doing live events. and I think that's going to continue on here. They recently just did some live events here locally here around the Kansas City and Wichita area, and you know, a lot of fans. I've actually had some friends that went to them. They said it was a blast, it was a good way, and they needed to do a lot more of them. So we'll see that here soon. Here, very very soon. They're possibly traveling maybe with the main roster here from time to time. You know, doing some live shows there on Raw and SmackDown, or possibly maybe even be involved in some pay-per-views, maybe SummerSlam as a you know, pre-show match, or just a quick match to fill some time in between matches, stuff like that. So I think that's a good idea if they go along with something like that. I think that's a, you know, brilliant idea, and that's something I think they need to try to go for and really try to promote NXT and really showcase some of these, because they got a lot of talent down there that we haven't seen just yet, and I think we need to see a lot more of what a lot of these superstars can do. Yeah, I'd like to see more Blake and Murphy, and you know, some of the Dawkins and Sawyer. They're a great tag team. But yeah, I just want to see a lot more of the guys from the superstars there in NXT. So far, they haven't announced a Divas match yet. Well, yeah. Well, I already mentioned the not Divas, the women's NXT Women's Championship, as Asuka retains the title. But going back to the Money in the Bank, I don't think they've announced Money in the Bank yet for that. So, yeah, Money in the Bank. I'm sure there's going to be a match with Charlotte and maybe Natalya, or Charlotte and somebody coming up here pretty soon. So, but yeah, so far. But I want to know from you guys. What do you guys think? Give me your reactions. What you guys thought with the results of the show were. For honestly, the NXT and NXT show, the pay-per-view there, I give it 8 out of 10 stars. I mean, it was that good. It was a good show. You know, they could have, you know, did a little bit more, maybe with you know, with some of them, like the opening match. They could have showcased them a little bit more. I really like to see Bobby Roode. I mean, I think that would have been really made the show, get him involved. I mean, because him and Joe have history. Maybe, you know, tease that some. You know, Eric Young, you know, he's part of the WWE NXT roster. Try to, you know, maybe tease him a little bit more. Maybe, you know, who is Joe's next guy that is going to try to face Joe. Because we all know that Finn Balor is going to go to the main roster. So, I mean, that's a given right there. So, alright, so that is it from me, you guys. This is actually a quick video. Usually I you know, an hour-long video, but not so much going on in sports right now. I mean, you got the finals going on right now. Like I said, I've been trying to pick up on news on that type of stuff, but I haven't. I will say next week we'll talk about a little bit more about Madden 17, as we're getting closer and closer to Madden being released. So, Madden, there's been some pretty good things I've heard for next year's Madden. We'll talk about that here coming up in next week's show. So, as a matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and type that in there right now. Madden news. I've been reading some stuff up on Madden for next year. Also, we'll get some baseball news. See what's going on in baseball. Olympics are coming up. We do have an Olympic special here that I'm trying to put together for you guys to talk about what's going on in the Olympics and what's going to be going on down there in Rio this August. Which I can't believe it's in August. Usually, I think they have it in August. For some reason, I keep thinking it's in July. Like maybe the last 2 weeks in July or something like that. I don't know. But the Olympics will be starting up again, so it's going to be really fun to see that and see if Phelps can do that again, what he did back in London, and not to mention what Gabby did back with the gymnastics and stuff like that. So it's going to be really fun to see. Can't wait. But yeah, next week, like I said, we'll have some some Madden news. We'll talk about Madden, and we'll talk about more about the pay-per-view coming up for Money in the Bank, and who you guys think is going to win the matchups. And I'll tell you my predictions and what I like to see from Money in the Bank here coming up here in about another week and a half, I think. So, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to hit that subscription button and subscribe for more Sports Gamers Soapbox Talk podcast. Try to say that 10 times fast. So yeah, definitely come on back for more Sports Gamer Sports Gamers Soapbox Talk here on the channel, and let me know what you guys want to talk about, and I'll try to fit that in there with you guys. I would really like to get you guys to be able to call in and stuff like that, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that with Skype and whatnot. But we'll more and more I'll try to get into that kind of stuff and whatnot as we as we try to get the show to grow bigger and whatnot. But if you guys got some questions or whatever you want me to answer about the show, or about my personal life, what games I'm in, video games I'm into, or what sports I like, enjoy to watch, ask me. I'll let you guys know. Yeah, so that'll be something you guys can do. Always ask questions here, you guys. I'm an open book, and just let me know what you guys want to talk about here on the podcast. So that is it for me, you guys. As always, keep yourselves healthy, and I will see you guys next time.